You're listening to Daddy Knows Bets with your hosts, Jay Fisher, Matt, the Ghost Lawman, and Steve, the Brain Wolf.
Hello, and welcome to Daddy Knows Bets. I am Ray Fisher, along here with Pat Lawman, and a guy that everyone calls the Brain, Stephen Fox. We are excited to be back with you this week after we missed last week, and frankly, you don't want to know what we've been doing with ourselves. Things we certainly wouldn't want the police to find out. And when our children listen to these historical records years from now, things they probably would want to forget about us. Speaking of kids, guys, parenting is impossible. And let me give you an example of this. This is something that I never even thought about thinking about. The other day, we were at the store, and I turned the aisle, and there was a man standing there with a hook for an arm. And I was walking towards him, thinking to myself, don't look at it. And then as soon as I get right in front of him, Lila runs up, and she goes, "Hey, why he has no arm?" Now, not only do I have no idea how to handle this as a parent, I don't think I know how to handle this as a human being. I know that I need to teach her not to point shit out like that in people's faces. Steve, what do you do in that situation? What do you say?
You turn around and go, "Whose fucking kid is this? Are you lost?" Just completely bail.
Well,
come here, sweetie. Let me take you to customer service. See if your parents are around anywhere.
Or you could have just rolled with it. I don't know. Excuse me, sir. Why don't you have an arm?
Yeah, I guess the actual, solid thing to do is to turn it into a teachable moment, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't really know, though. I kind of gave up parenting like a year ago. That shit's
seriously,
ridiculous.
It is hard, right? Yeah, you got to turn things into teachable moments like that. But I mean, I can't she's 3.5, so I can't tell her hey, you have to be sensitive to people's handicaps or something like that. I mean, the main point is I just need to get her to not blurt shit like that out in front of people's faces at this point, right? Matt, what would you do if your 3-month-old son ran up to a guy with no arm and asked him why he didn't have an arm?
I like what Steve suggested. Just act like I don't even know him.
You know what? Isn't that the best part about kids, though? Right? Their brutal honesty. Like, you really want to know. You really want to know what's up. Ask a kid what they think, and they're going to tell you. They have no filter. They're not. Your emotions don't. They take a back seat when it comes to the truth.
Oh my God! Yeah, yesterday. What was it? Yesterday, the day before. I was laying in bed with Lila. She woke up, and she just was staring at my chest and just started grabbing at my chest. And she started grabbing at my nipples and shit. And I was like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Daddy, you have boobs." I have not eaten anything since. I have not had a meal. Nothing.
Oh my!
Go to the gym tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad to be dealing with different kind of stuff. My kid can't. He just makes noises. So.
Oh yeah, your time's coming.
It gets fun.
Yesterday we're at a birthday party, right? Now Landon's obsessed with basketball. I mean, this kid can't get enough of basketball. He's just obsessed with the game. So there's a basketball court where we're at, and there's 2 teenage kids who aren't affiliated with the party because it's like a public park. They're, playing one-on-one against each other. My 2.5-year-old son walks up to this court. He looks at these kids. Now he's in the middle of the court, so they can't even play. He looks at him and he goes, You shoot down there. And they were like, "Okay." I was like, "Bro, you can't do that." And he was like, "No." The teenage kid looked at me. He's like, No, it's cool, man. It's cool. And I was like, did he just run them off this court? Like, what's happening here?
My court. Like that?
Then 15 minutes later, he runs down and steals their ball. I'm like, bro. It's crazy. I woke up yesterday morning. This is literally how I woke up. This is no lie. I open up my eye, and all I hear is, "Hey, Steven." Like with that cute little lisp that most little kids have. I was like, that was my son. I was like, what'd you just say to me? Like, who even told you what my name was?
I think it was a setup.
It was definitely a setup. Kids are wild, bro, but they're funny.
Yeah, Lila does that. She's got this little alphabet puzzle, and she always picks up the J. She goes, "It's J for Daddy." Oh, man. Kids are the cutest thing, but I just want to punch them in the face so many times. But I'm glad that all of the kids are doing well and, learning how to boss people around already, especially on the court. That's how you got to be, right? You get that ball in your hand, you got to be the boss. So.
Oh, yeah, no, listen, I was super proud of them, but like in the moment, it was one of those like, check, please.
As we speak, this is recording this right now at halftime of this finals game. I'm actually shocked. Holy crap. A good NBA basketball game? It's not going to turn out good, right? I mean, one of these teams is going to win by 20 points, right? And then by the time that people have heard this, we will know who had won. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot right now and get your halftime predictions right now. Steve, who wins this game by how much?
Celtics by 5.
Matt, go.
I'll take the opposite side. I'm going Golden State by 7.
Ooh, and I also have Golden State. So it is absolutely going to be the Celtics. Man, not a lot to say about this, right? I mean, both these teams are really good. The first game was very, very competitive until the end of the game. The Celtics, so funny. Game 7 against the Heat. I needed to place a bet on something. So I couldn't decide who. And I was going to take the Celtics, but then I saw them talking on TNT, NBA, Charles Barkley, blah, 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 about how the Celtics suck in close games. So I was like, well, I guess it's probably going to be pretty close. So I took the Heat. That did not work out very well. And then last game, the Celtics are kind of proving him wrong, right? How good are the Celtics? Are they good enough to sweep the series?
This defense is incredible. Jaylen Brown's playing out of his mind right now. I mean, they hit so many shots there in the second half of game 1. I don't know if these role players can keep stepping up like that, but I mean, you see the way Tatum and Brown are playing in the first half of this game, so they could dominate and take over a game at any time. That they're keeping them in this game 100%.
Yeah, they seem to be playing really well as a team. I mean, I'm not the biggest NBA guy. I know some guys. I know that Jason Tatum is a superstar. Jaylen Brown, pretty popular, right? But when I think of superstars, I think of the Warriors. And just, general view of the NBA is that the teams with the most studs usually do well. But I think the Heat proved us wrong. Proved me wrong, at least. And I think the Celtics are kind of shoving this right in my face, too. Steve, you got anything to say about this?
Just want everyone to know that his real name is Wardell.
Oh, yeah. You are a hater. That's right. I forgot.
What a fraud, dude. Like, you're out here and you can't even tell everybody what your real name is.
And you think he's also a fraud on the basketball court?
No, I didn't. I don't.
Just a person in general.
Yeah.
Okay. And could you go ahead and explain to the people how any of that is fucking relevant?
It's only relevant because you asked me.
He puts the ball in the hoop from very long. He puts fucking asses in the stands, too.
Yep. He did it in the first quarter of game 1 and didn't do it after that. Congratulations.
So that's the thing, right? Like, Curry needs to do well. I don't know. I mean, I know Klay Thompson hasn't played in like 2 years until, I don't even know, a couple of weeks ago or something like that. But this team still, it runs through Curry, right? So Curry doesn't do well, and this team doesn't do well.
I think what made them successful in some of these early rounds, obviously the teams they played, I think they've had a pretty easy road to get here. So, which is quite the contrary to Boston. Boston's played some great teams. But early on, Golden State had Poole playing very well. Looney really stepped up in the series against Dallas. So they had some guys other than Thompson and Curry step up and play well. And I think that's what they're going to need to have happen here if they want to win some games against Boston and make this competitive.
And now, here's my other question about any of this, is that it's June now. When does the NBA season start again? October?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I think it's like November.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe the end of October, early November. I think it started late this year because of like a holdout.
And then how many teams missed the playoffs again?
Like 4.
Less than half of them. We need to shorten this regular season up, right? This has been a little bit of a topic of debate on the internet these days. But I think that I definitely agree with it. We need to shorten the regular season up, or at least make the playoffs more exclusive.
It seems kind of excessive. I feel like we've been in the midst of the NBA playoffs for months now.
Yeah. The
Literally.
playoffs. I don't mind how long the playoffs are, but why do we have so many freaking games to get to the playoffs when you're only eliminating 15 teams or something like that? I think that is why the NFL is so popular. You give people too much of a good thing, and they're going to start not appreciating it. Although people love the NBA, but like we talked about, right? People love the idea of the NBA a lot more, I think, than actually watching the game. People love the star power. People love gambling on it. But people certainly love the NBA more than they love the NHL. I went to a Buffalo Wild Wings today. It was funny. I'm such an asshole. I ended up in Annapolis, Maryland somehow. And I stopped at a Buffalo Wild Wings just to catch the second half of the second period of that game. And then I told myself, I'm going to hop in my car and I'm going to start heading home, but hit up the next Buffalo Wild Wings on my way home so I can catch the third period. I get to that Buffalo Wild Wings. There's not a single TV playing the hockey game. It is game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's on ESPN, and there was not a single TV playing. I had to watch it on my phone for till about halfway through the period. I don't know, man. These hockey players, I mean, these guys play a lot of games too. You can actually hit people in the NHL, right?
Yeah. You know what's funny? You don't see hockey players taking nights off for rest.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are one of the most exciting things out there, and these hockey players are very underappreciated and undervalued. And it's just not popular amongst, your 5 major sports. And I can't understand for the life of me why. But if it keeps ticket prices low for me to go and enjoy it with my family, it's one of the best, live sporting experiences you can go to. The hell with it. I love the Stanley Cup playoffs.
There's nothing like playoff hockey. And you know what? There's nothing like live hockey either. Live hockey is better than a lot of live sports. I would rather go see a live hockey game than a live football game. Football is better on the TV. Hockey is better live. And you know what? I think that all of the teams kind of knew coming into the season that they weren't actually going to make money. But Gary Bettman talked them into playing this season because he told them, look, if we take a season off, we're going to lose all of our fans.
Oh, yeah, you'll just be forgotten.
It is really sad, actually. I don't really get it. just it's such an exciting sport, especially nowadays. So many goals and shit, and you know, a lot of parity too. I mean, these Rangers came into these playoffs kind of an afterthought. I mean, I had my bracket filled out. I had the Penguins over them in the first round.
That almost happened. I mean, they were on the way out. Imagine the odds you could have got when they were down 3-1 in the series. And then, like, if you were betting live in the game 5, I think they were down like several goals in that game. They came back. That shit was crazy.
So here's a great stat. The Rangers are the first team to ever have 2 playoff series wins and not actually lead the series until they won their game 7.
Oh my God. And I don't know what it is. I mean, they just got confidence and confidence and confidence for days after that.
Honestly, it's the recipe for success in the postseason. It's a great efficient power play. It's good defense, and it's the best goaltending that you have left in the playoffs.
And it seems to happen in hockey more than other sports that I can recall.
Oh yeah, nobody turns or bats an eye to an 8 seed winning the Stanley Cup, because hockey isn't one of those lopsided sports where you're stacked with star power, right? Like, you have a lot of balance. You have 4 different lines that come in and out. You play, you know, at most a minute 10 seconds a shift. Like, there's a lot of variables in hockey.
Mr. Connor McDavid playing 45 minutes a game. That
dude's on some other shit. I was just watching that game yesterday, and I was like, man, when he is on the ice, he is explosive.
Oh, my God. He
looks like a 12-year-old kid skating around with a bunch of 80-year-old men. It's crazy.
And you see him, like, accept a breakout pass and just, like, flying up the ice, like, past the defender. And you're like, holy shit. Like, people are not supposed to be able to skate that fast. But that goes to show you. I mean, they got the stud power. I mean, they got possibly the 2 best players in the NHL in McDavid and Draisaitl, and they've got a lot of other nice pieces too. But you know, they're still not exactly championship caliber team, and that's showing. I mean, they almost lost to the Kings in the first round. I don't understand how they just blew past the Flames. I think that was probably a lot of issues with Markstrom just sucking my balls. He needed to really take a rest. But
listen, the Rangers, though, the Oilers. The Oilers are a scary team because if they're missing 2 pieces, right? They're literally missing an Adam Fox and an Igor Shesterkin. And we're talking about back-to-back cups. You get a solid defenseman that can eat up minutes and can play on the power play, and a rock-solid goalie, the Oilers are going to be in contention for every single season.
Yeah, Mike Smith not getting it done.
Well, you got to give the guy a break. He's got arthritis. You know, I know what that's like. But yeah, they got some nice pieces. They probably need a little bit more depth. I mean, they've got Darnell Nurse. It's one of the most offensive defenders in the game.
Well, okay. I mean, the biggest hype around Darnell Nurse was the fact that he was Donovan McNabb's nephew. It's not the only thing he had going for him. What happened to Adam Larson? Because, bro, when we traded Adam Larson from Jersey to get Taylor Hall, I was like, oh, man, I love Taylor Hall, but that kind of felt like a shit move. I feel like they would have taken less for that. But Adam Larson was there for a little while, and what happened to that guy?
I think he went to, I want to say the Coyotes. It's funny. I Google Adam Larson.
His career was just over then, huh?
Adam Larson Jazz. People don't even know who Adam Larson is. No, he's.
You're talking about Oliver Ekman Larson.
Adam Larson. Oh, the Kraken. Okay, of course.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the Kraken, exactly. How about these assholes? I mean, who passes up on Vladimir Tarasenko in the expansion draft?
Yeah, that was just ridiculous.
It was horrible. They tried to take like the same approach that the Knights took, and it was just like
Cracking her out here like the fucking Texans of the NHL.
They're gonna play Moneyball. That's what they were trying to do, I guess. I don't even know, but I think Tarasenko had 100 points this year. So
yeah, it's not too shabby.
I need to confirm these things.
Yeah, I just want to take a look here real quick too, because I was crossed up the other day on some of these hockey futures, right? Because I was on Barstool, and at that time it was 1-0 in the Rangers series. They had the Rangers as the favorite to win the series, but they still had the Lightning at better odds to win the cup than the Rangers. Like, how does any of this make sense?
Ew.
Interesting.
Yeah, what do you do in that situation then?
I'm looking at FanDuel right now. The Rangers are minus 140 to win the series, and the Lightning are plus 120.
Now look at the cup odds.
The cup, they're both plus 400.
Okay, because Barstool is still the same way. The Lightning to win the cup are plus 400. The Rangers are plus 425. But the Rangers are a minus 136 favorite to win the current series. So how do you have better odds than the Lightning to win this series, but worse odds for the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, I guess whoever's handicapping.
Yeah, it kind of feels like we could take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I just don't know how yet.
Yeah, I don't know. What is it? It's minus 195 for the Avs. Is that the same?
I have minus 200 for the Avs to win the cup here on Barstool. That's the thing, right? That Avs series, I mean, it's kind of inevitable right now that the Oilers just don't have the goaltending to actually make this a series. Sorry for you Oiler fans out there. That's the bottom line of it. But the time off that the Avs are going to have here, because this Rangers series has the feel of going pretty deep, we're going to see how that impacts the actual Stanley Cup start. So, you saw the Lightning and how sluggish they came out after having an extended time off from beating the shit out of the Panthers. So if the Avs are off 5 to 7 days here before the Cup even starts, man, if the Rangers are able to pull it out, the Rangers have had a lot of success just continuing to play hockey every other night.
You would think they would be tired by now. Played a lot of fucking games, but nope, they look just as energetic as ever. I mean, I'm never going to count the Lightning out of anything. There's probably the sense that the Rangers have this series in the bag more than they really do. Obviously that first game they came out firing like crazy. I don't know. I mean, there was just it looked like a lot of miscommunication on the Lightning and just a lot of mental errors, it seemed like. And then the last game, I mean, these last two games, you got to look at Shesterkin, right? I mean, it's not like the Lightning have been playing that bad, honestly. I mean, what did they have? Like 50 shots on goal? And, you got to look at the goaltending. I mean, Vasilevsky, the best in the game, you just look at him as probably like, top tier. But Chess is probably the difference maker. And if the Lightning can squeeze some past him, then, I mean, this series is not over by any means, right? Especially if they can tie it up this next game. But I think that whoever wins this, you got to look at the Avs, what they're doing over in the West. I mean, they don't look like they're about to blow it anytime soon. They look like they're fired up. They're on a mission. They got the fucking talent. And Francouz has been playing very admirably in place of Kemper. So I don't even really care. I don't even care who's in net for them. Francouz. By the way, where does this guy get off? His name being pronounced Francouz. Why is it not Francois? That's one thing I don't like. That really grinds my gears. I'm going to get over it, though. Francouz, piece of shit. You're doing pretty good. I don't think that minus
So-
200 is that absurd.
No. That's decent odds. I'm looking here at the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, which for, our followers who don't know, that's for the MVP of the finals. They have the odds listed out now. I don't know, man. There's some things that jump out on the screen for me. It's the starting goaltender for the Avalanche, who are basically a lock to already make the finals. Darcy Kemper is at plus 5,000. That seems pretty good because Nathan McKinnon's at plus 200, right? Goaltenders can take over a series. So for Shesterkin and Vasilevsky to be plus 1,000 and their series to you're not really sure who's even going to be the representative for the Eastern Conference. For Kemper to be what's going to be likely the shoe-in for the Western Conference representative at plus 5,000, might dump a couple bucks on that.
Well, let me stop you right there, actually, because the Conn Smythe is for MVP of the playoffs in general, so it takes into account the other series also. And he's been out, you know what I mean? So, what are the other odds? Who's the favorite right now?
McKinnon at plus 200.
Okay, yeah. And then, let me see, what else you got?
And then Cale Makar, who's his teammate, the defenseman, at plus 210.
Yeah, Makar's been a beast. He is a beast.
But see, like you can call the Conn Smythe the playoff MVP if you want, right? But it's really not. It's a finals MVP.
Well, the hard thing about that is that you also have to predict who's going to win the finals. You know what I mean?
Right, that's why I'm saying to you, if we believe that up 3-0, the Avalanche are going to be the representative for the West, and their goaltender is at plus 5,000 as compared to the two goalies from the East being at plus 1,000, why wouldn't you take the guy that you know is already going to be there right now?
Well, because it takes into account the other series played. So, I mean, even if Kemper comes in, hey, I guess that could happen. You know, I don't know. If he comes in and just pitches 4 shutouts in a row. Shesterkin, Zibanejad.
Zibanejad's even at plus 1,300.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough bet because you also have to, you know, you're also.
I don't even see Francois or whatever, however the hell you want to pronounce it. Like, he's not even on my board here.
It's Francouz.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
But yeah, that's a tough bet. I would stay away from that just because. You also have to, especially right now, you have to predict who's going to win. You're going to take a Ranger. You're predicting that they're going to beat the Lightning and they're going to beat the fucking Avs. I don't know if that's worth 13. And then you have to predict who's going to win the Conn Smythe. That just seems like a little bit. I don't know. I just love hockey. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to get drunk, and I'm going to watch some of these freaking replays of these games because it's just
okay. Okay, so what about Landeskog at 1,700 or Rantanen at 2,000?
Well, hold on. Let me look at these playoff stats. Oh, man. Connor McDavid has 30 points. Jesus Christ. 21 assists.
Oh, top game.
So, I mean, that's so funny. I mean, you look at these points. You got McDavid at 30 points already. Draisaitl's at 28. But, wow, yeah, interesting. Because this is the thing about the Avs is they're just such a solid, a lot of good players. So many good players. And it looks like they're just getting it spread around. I mean, McKinnon only has 13 points. Kind of surprising.
And he had a hat trick and a loss.
Ranson have 13. Makar with. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry.
So are we saying that McKinnon, or I'm sorry, are we saying that McDavid has a chance to win the Conn Smythe without even being in the Stanley Cup final?
No, you got to win that. That's what I'm saying. That's why it makes it so.
No. Because I was watching the other night and it was like, Connor McDavid has a chance to bow out in the Western Conference Finals here and still have done enough on his resume to be the first ever winner of the Conn Smythe to not even represent in the Stanley Cup Final. He's destroying the competition of the playoffs right now.
Yeah, he does. He does that. That's what I mean. I can't see you get swept in the conference finals and then still get the Conn Smythe. I mean, but it's interesting. I mean, you're looking at these guys, and I'm sorry, I was a little bit wrong here. I was looking at games played. So yeah, McKinnon 17 points, McCarr also 17 points. Landeskog has 14, Kadri with 14. So yeah, they're spreading it around. Doesn't look like there's anybody particularly standing out from the Avs that would deserve this. But the winner is going to be from the winner of the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know. Maybe. No, I don't see McDavid. No, come on. That's not going to happen. I don't know. Pick one. I would just stay away from it. Totally. All right. So predictions for these Stanley Cup Finals here. Matt, who's going to beat who for the cup?
For the cup, I'm going to go Rangers over Avs plus 430.
That is a horrible guess.
Boom. I'm riding with that.
Okay.
I just have to. I knew that's what Steve was going to say, and he's been right for the most part so far. So I'm following his lead.
You just got to believe it, man. As much as listen, Jay. You and I are Devils fans. I don't want to see the fucking Rangers win this thing as much as the next guy.
Right.
But I don't really know how you can tell me that they don't have the ability to compete with the Avs or anybody else right now.
They are playing phenomenal hockey. You know, the thing is, though, I mean, they haven't really dominated this series, is what I was getting at. I mean,
they're scrappy, dude. They don't need to dominate shit. They're not out here sweeping anybody.
You
get into deep waters with the Rangers, you're in fucking trouble.
Because, yeah, I'm watching, and, they're just everywhere. They're just always in the right position, it seems like. It's frustrating. But at the same time, like, they're playing so well and they're frustrating their opponents and stuff. But the series is still at 2-1. And
no, for sure. But listen,
only at one goal.
All right, let's say hypothetically, right, the Rangers end up winning this series against the Lightning. The Avs, if they go and sweep the Oilers or they win the series 4-1, what happens? You get to a cup now and you get to a game 5, a game 6, a game 7. Are the Avs going to be tight because they really haven't had any competition thus far? The Rangers, that's right in their wheelhouse. I'll bet on the Rangers. It gets that deep. I'll bet on the Rangers every game.
Well, they have been known to blow it. And interesting, yeah, you talked about the parity in the NHL. I mean, that seems like it's every year now, right? Last year was the Canadiens. The year before that, it was with the Stars. But then when you get to the finals, I think that the cream really starts to rise. So I would usually lean on the favorites in the finals.
My cream is rising.
Okay, man. Well, maybe we should move on. That might be our cue. Does anybody have anything to say about baseball? Nope. Okay, good. Move.
Whoa.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Steve, do you have some baseball stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah, man.
Oh, cool.
Listen.
I'm going to go take a dump.
No, okay. Ghost, chat with me here for a minute about baseball.
Baseball's fun, man. I love it. I've just been I've been finding my spots, just knowing what pitchers to fade, really, and kind of riding some of these teams that have gotten the bats going here. And, I'm excited to see how some of these divisions end up playing out.
Yeah, listen, the Mets are legit. The Mets are legit. You know, as we progress through the season here, we're through the first 2 full months of the season, essentially. There's some serious definitive lines between, some rising teams, some falling teams, some teams that are upper echelon that are staying there. The Mets now, after sweeping the Dodgers in LA, which, Jesus, they're on a serious skid. Dodgers recently got swept by the Pirates and then also got swept by the Mets here. But the Mets, having lost their ace.
Swept by the Mets.
The Mets, I think the Dodgers won the first game of the series, and then
Did
the
they?
Mets won the last two.
No, they won. I thought they won 2 in a row.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, it was a 4-game set, so they split it. Okay.
Okay, so shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
All right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's my bad.
The Pirates, though. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the Pirates at home. Jesus.
That was real.
If you would have taken the winnings from the first Pirates game and then put the whole thing on the second Pirates game and then bankrolled that into the third one, we wouldn't even be here right now.
I would never. I wonder if there was like odds in the Pirates sweeping that series. I would have never even bothered putting money on that though.
But it's just crazy, right? You're right. I've been corrected. They just took 2 out of 4 from the Dodgers. But what the Mets have been able to do
they won today?
without their top 2 guys in their rotation, DeGrom hasn't thrown a single pitch all year, right? Scherzer apparently got attacked by his dog, so he's been out.
Did he lose the color in his other eye?
Actually, he was born that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? That dude's eyes, and honestly, it's wild because just to be born with eyes like that dude's probably pulling so much poon just from a birth defect. It's wild.
Why he only have one eye?
But just the fact, he looks like a goddamn husky. Like he's just probably got bitches dropping their panties everywhere. Doesn't even have to say, "Hi, my name's Max." Like nobody gives a fuck.
I think he's a pretty wholesome family man.
Hey, he's got to be married to some hot ass broad with a bunch of kids.
Oh well.
Probably
See, he let a good thing go to waste.
Probably cheats on her constantly.
Where were we going with this?
Oh yeah. So the Mets have an 8.5 game lead in the NL East. Got a stranglehold on that. The Central, that's the Brewers and the Cardinals. It always is. The Padres without Tatis right now, 2 games back from the Dodgers. The American League, though, is where things get a little weird here, right? Because the Yankees are dominating the East, which not that it's weird, right? But the Blue Jays just went on an 8-game win streak.
I'm sorry. Did you see that half-court shot? You guys watching
No.
the game? Okay, never mind. Continue.
No, I'm watching the Cubs game.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to chime in here, Steve. I think you're wrong about the Celtics. Matt, you are the winner. Go on, continue.
Yeah, probably.
The fourth quarter. Do you remember what happened in game 1?
Listen. I don't claim
a half-court buzzer beater. I think the Warriors are probably.
I don't claim to be out here being a wizard of all things that are right. I just say what I want and I just put it out there in the universe.
Oh, but they're up 23. Okay, yeah. That's
oh shit, it's like that.
Yeah. We'll see. That fourth quarter of game 1 was just so lopsided. The Celtics just dominated, so maybe they can get it close. I might hit this one right on the head. What do I get if it's exactly 7 points?
Are you telling me the Celtics scored 14 points in that third quarter?
Yeah, 35-14. They were outscored.
Not very good.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. You can still get the Yankees at minus 220 to win the division. Is that
so? That's what
you were
crazy,
talking
right?
about that, right?
Yeah, not that it's not crazy that the Yankees are leading the division, right? They've had good offense, although streaky, and they've also had starting pitching that's played above expectation. But for the fact that the Blue Jays just went on an 8-game win streak recently, and they're still 7.5 back from the Yanks at first place, it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, the Yankees just keep finding a way to win close games. not necessarily like scoring a ton of runs in every game. They just win a lot of close games. But you're right, the Blue Jays have been hot. The Rays are good, so I guess that's why these books are looking at it that way, where it's like these three teams are all within 10 games of each other, so makes it potentially a little more competitive coming down the stretch compared to like what's going on now. I think they finally realized in the NL East that like these other teams aren't very good. The Braves are just playing so far under expectations after winning the World Series. The Phillies are in shambles. Obviously, they fired their manager. And
shout out to you, Mac, for calling that one about 3 weeks ago.
I did call that. And then the Marlins, they've got some pitching, but yeah, not much going on there. So it's like really what is worth betting on as far as like some of these divisions at this time. Like you said, like the Padres, you can get them at plus 450 to win the division right now, which they're only how many games behind the Dodgers?
They're 2 back from the Dodgers, and they've done all this without Tatis.
See, that might be worth a little something. Otherwise, you can still get plus money on the Twins, who are actually in first place in the Central, right?
Correct, yeah.
You can get them here. I'm looking at plus 125. So that's just something where Vegas hasn't shifted their stance on the White Sox, who I think have just, as far as pitching goes, underperformed greatly. They've suffered some injuries now here with some of their offensive players too, so I just don't get it.
Well, okay, we've been over this. You went over this last week in your creepy, weird sex robot voice, the futures. But let's talk about now for a second. I want to know who's hot, who's not. What should we be looking to bet on? Steve, I know earlier you told me that I needed to fade Rich Hill, and that wasn't necessarily the case, but yeah. What do you guys see?
He pitched a gem. Now? He pitched a gem today, actually.
What do you guys see right now in relation to trends that are happening that we need to focus on? We need to know.
So here's the deal, right? I always go through every day when I'm looking to bet on baseball. Every day I go through and Matt, you could chime in on this because I'm sure you're very similar with it. It's all about the starting pitcher, right? And the starting pitcher doesn't always dictate what money line side I'm going to take. Now, if you got a guy like Corbin Burns, some of your top tier strikeout guys, Robbie Ray, for example, although he got beat up a little bit last week, you'll pick your starters out, and if they're a money line dog and you got a stud on the hill, then it's worth the money line gamble. When you're talking about Yu Darvish, pitching against, Lauer or somebody else, I'm flexing these over-unders. I'm bumping it up a run from the original line, which let's say it's 7.5. I'm going to take the under 8.5. I'll flex it up a run because, you're kind of at a better advantage to think that there's going to be fewer runs because some of these stud pitchers just don't get the run support in their favor. So just because you got a guy on the mound who's out here striking out, 8 guys, 9 guys per 9 innings pitched, it doesn't mean that he's getting the run support every game that he needs. So, I'm taking these over-unders and I'm flexing them up just to buy a run or so and hammering those. I know, we smacked a three-leg parlay the other day by doing that, Jay. So,
yeah, and Matt likes to take the first 5 based on these types of pitchers also, right?
Yeah, the first 5, like, obviously, it'll come back to bite you or it'll play into your advantage at certain points. It's just like anything in gambling. But if you're really just backing a starting pitcher and maybe worried about a team's bullpen strength or just what they have incurred recently, like if they've gone through a stretch where their bullpen is worn out, but you like a Bieber for the Guardians, like, yeah, take the first 5 and you'll get a push a lot of the times too. I like the condition where like there is no definitive win or loss if you're taking the money line on a first 5. Obviously, you could take the plus or minus a half as well. So it depends how confident you are in the pitching. And yeah, but I think Steve is spot on there. And same thing. I'm just looking at some of these trends on how these. I'm mostly fading starting pitching. A lot of these pitchers, like, it's staggering the team's record when they've started. A down for the Nationals, couple of their pitchers. Yeah, it's just you can look at some of these trends and just fade some of these guys right away.
And with that being said, there's a lot of guys that I ride with every single time they're on the hill, like Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins or Alex Manoah recently for the Blue Jays. Like, I have no problem throwing my money out to back those guys. And, you're going to get burnt, but if you get burnt going up, and backing a pitcher who's been rock solid with a very respectable ERA and a high K ratio, you're going to lose some, but you can live with that at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a grind, and like we've talked about previously here, it's to a lot of handicappers and people who bet baseball, it's 100% about the number and nothing to do with the team itself or the pitching. So, but I guess your decision on that number, all those factors are playing into it. But like, you could be on, you could have Scherzer going if he's healthy, and that line could move enough where you're just willing to take the underdog based on the plus money that you can get from it. So, like
your boy Nestor Cortez, that dude's been lights out this year, but it seems
Cy Young, baby.
It seems like the only time the Yankees don't really want to score runs is when he's on the bump.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, the Yankees have a ton of pitchers overperforming right now. I think, Severino, Cortez, like some of these odds, but as far as Cy Young odds go on FanDuel, Cole is still the slight favorite over any of the other Yankee pitchers right now, which, he's been coming around, but he didn't start off very well.
And let me just chime in here for a second.
Oh, God, do you have to?
Because I'm really good at most things, including gambling. And after many, many losses on baseball, I realized that this is not one of them. But from losing so much, I've realized like there's so much parity in baseball that some of these like money line lines are just absurd. And what I've been kind of experimenting with lately is I will look for the 2 biggest underdogs of the day, and I will parlay one of the winners or one of the dogs with one of the favorites, and then I will do another parlay with the favorite and the dog, because I feel like one of them is going to win, right? One of these dogs is going to win, and one of them is probably, it's hard to imagine that 2 huge dogs are going to win, but it's actually kind of been working, because there's a lot of parity. So if you take a huge dog I mean, there's a few factors you can think about. Like obviously, home field advantage, and then also want to look at the series. That's one of my issues that I had. One of my regrets that I had yesterday, I didn't even look at the Dodgers series after I placed that bet, and I realized, like, holy shit, like, they just beat the Mets twice. Like, the Mets might come out swinging in this one. But that strategy has actually kind of been paying off. And I'm going to go ahead and research it further. But next time, hopefully, we will have some excellent results for it. But in my opinion, I think taking these big dogs in baseball is just way better, way more value, and it wins. You're going to win a lot more money just taking the dogs in baseball.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily needs to be an underdog. I think you can find some low juice on some favorites with pitching matchups or edges that you find, or just fading pitchers. So, but yeah, I mean, I'll every day I find myself at least backing some team with plus money.
Well, for people who don't follow baseball religiously like me, I kind of just like to look at the general perspective of gambling, especially if yesterday, like I should have seen. I look at series and stuff. I mean, obviously there's outliers and stuff. Nobody thought that the Pirates were going to sweep the Dodgers, but something like that, like I would have looked at. I would have lost a lot of money on that series. Actually, I probably would have taken the Pirates like the first game, and then when they won that first game of the series, I probably would have taken the Dodgers the next one. And then when the Dodgers lost that game, I would have been like, fuck it. And I would have just thrown all my money on the Dodgers the third game. And I would have lost all of that too. It's called progressive betting, people.
It's a strategy that would have failed in that instance. But
yeah. But, you kind of look at the law of averages here, and you think to yourself, I have to win at some point. Yeah, monkey throwing shit at a dartboard do better than me sometimes, but I don't know. I always look at the dogs in baseball. Biggest dogs, it's really hard for me because I'm a favorites guy, but I think that's where money is. I think that's where people should be always leaning towards the big dogs. But anyway, enough about boring shit. There's another sport in the world that is just much, much better. It's called football, and there's a professional league called the NFL. Here's some news, actually, in the NFL. This is really, really front page stuff, people. I mean, one of the biggest stories probably in the history of the NFL is that, what is his name?
Tommy Pham
slapped the shit out of Jock Peterson over fantasy football. Oh my God, how many man smacks are we going to have to deal with this year? So I guess it was some kind of issue about, what was it, over Frank Gore? I don't know why everything. I feel like
it was Frank Wilson, or no, Jeff Wilson.
Wilson, for some reason. I don't even know what it was, but there was some kind of IR issue, something along the lines. And I don't know. Tommy Pham was really pissed about it, so he smacked the shit out of Jock Peterson. And now everybody's blaming Mike Trout, the commissioner. You can't blame the commissioner for, anything, really. Because we try.
You got to keep these people in line.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but ever since Tommy Pham smacked the shit out of Jock Peterson, Mike Trout's gone 0 for 26, which is the longest slump of his career.
Oh, you think he's taking it hard? You guys don't understand that commissioners, we have feelings too. Okay?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
When you start,
go ahead, Jay,
criticizing us and stuff. I mean, I get depressed. I've had to get, help, therapy and stuff, simply because you people were criticizing my job. So I understand, Mike Trout. I get it, buddy. It's tough, man. We got to stick together. You will get through it, and you'll get back to hitting again. And, I don't know. Is that a redraft league? Why don't they even have commissioners in redraft leagues? What's the point?
Did you guys actually catch the video that, like, somebody actually caught it on video? He smacked the fuck out of this dude.
Yeah, it was like an angry smack too, right?
Well, so here's the deal, right? Like, if you're Mike Trout, Jock Peterson, Tommy Pham, you're not playing in a fantasy league for a $200 buy-in like the rest of us average schmucks, right? Like, you're probably talking about, what do you guys think? 5, 10 G's?
I don't know, man. It would be interesting. A lot of the time, it's more pride than anything. But I'd be curious to know if
because these guys aren't out. These guys aren't out here playing for $100 buy.
Shit, doesn't he make like $500,000 a year? Thinks he's some kind of high roller. He's talking shit like he's like a high roller in Vegas, but makes like the league minimum.
Well, so I want to give Pham the benefit of the doubt just because if you look at Jock Peterson's face, he's got a face that you just want to slap.
The interview of him describing the incident is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, the fact that it didn't stop there though, like honestly, Jock Peterson, even the game after, right, where Pham already got suspended, Jock Peterson's out here singing like a songbird. He's in front of the media, and he's like, here, I got the text messages. Here's what happened. I'll read you guys the entire convo. It's like, bro, what? Why are you being a little bitch right now? Just take your smack and move on.
Yeah, seriously. I agree. Especially, I mean, fantasy football, it's no joke. We don't fuck around with this shit. I mean, how many physical altercations have I seen over fantasy? Actually, probably none. But a lot of threats of physical altercations. That actually is probably the first live physical altercation I've actually seen over fantasy football. But I've seen people threaten lives. I've seen people threaten families. We don't fuck around with it. But apparently, this is a really stupid issue that they had, is that I guess Jeff Wilson was out. That was the issue. Listed as out. And apparently you can put in that league somebody on IR when they're just listed as out. I feel like that's just a Yahoo thing in general, right? I don't even know if
but it's still a shit move.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Jacques Peterson said that Tommy Pham did something earlier like that in the season. So if people are doing it, then people are doing it. It's fine. It's part of the fucking rules. You're allowed to fucking do it. If it's not disallowed, then you can do it. So, God, I wish I just ran a redraft league. You guys have no idea how much of a fucking web of tangled shit it is to run a dynasty league.
Hold on. No.
It's just not going to happen.
Time the fuck out. No, time out. You ran a redraft league. Remember Stat Junkies?
Yeah, I still do that, actually.
Yeah. And you wanted more. And you got more.
Oh, God. You know what, though? I love it, though. The Dynasty format, it's so great. And you know, I think, honestly, one of my, and this is a little, we're going to do a little segment called Commissioner's Corner. This is my heartfelt tip to all the other commissioners out there. And actually, somebody told me this. I was doing a lot of research on Dynasty Leagues, and I was talking to people. I was just contacting random strangers online and shit and asking them questions. The number one tip that I heard about being a commissioner of a Dynasty League is do not ask for people's opinions on things. Like, can't have league votes on shit. Like, it doesn't work. Everybody has a fucking different opinion, and the rules are not a list of rules. They are a fucking tangled web of shit. So if you change one rule, it affects something else, and then that rule affects something else. And I tried really hard to get a lot of input on a lot of these rules, but I think that one of the things that's really helping me these days with it is just shut up. I listen to every single thing. You guys don't understand that. I listen to every single fucking comment, and I take every single thing that you guys have to say into account. But I'm not going to address every single fucking thing. That is my new. That is how I run this shit. Okay, that is how I maintain my level of mental health, as shitty as it might be. That is how I stay out of rock bottom. But
wait, I thought Rats was the commissioner.
Well, that was a failed experiment for about 5 minutes. I mean, it'll probably still happen at some point. I'm thinking because
I'm just kidding. I'm just busting your balls.
I mean, he's good. Like he'd be a great commissioner.
Well, you're not going to get on here and say he's dog shit.
Why not? I would. No, of course I would. Fuck that guy. Fuck Rats. Actually, fuck everybody in the league. Because you're all my mortal enemies. But no, I mean, Rats will be a good commissioner. But there's just certain things that we probably need to let play out a few years to understand better. Like I hate the idea of trying to change something now that we haven't even been through yet. You know what I mean? Like we haven't even seen the repercussions of some of these things, and we're trying to change them. We're like, just let the shit play out. Like, let's just see how it goes. And if you guys want to make changes later, like, okay, fine. But
hey Matt.
Yeah, you just were not willing to give up control.
I did for like 5 minutes.
For like a day. What's up?
Matt, what are we setting the over under at before Jay gets Jock Peterson?
Well, I'm trying to think of who's who in the league because I feel like Rats is the fam of the league.
So you think Rats is gonna fam Jay, and Jay in this situation would be Jock Peterson?
Yes.
Nice.
No, I'm Mike Trout.
Oh yeah, you are Mike Trout by default. Then it's got to be something to do with roast beef curtains and
Roast beef curtains is Tommy Pham.
And then Rats is Jock Peterson.
No, Big Kyle is.
No, we'll probably switch that around actually, because RBC, I think that he just he's one of those dudes that will just look for the edge in any single thing that he can get. So
so RBC's Jock Peterson.
I think that RBC is Jock Peterson, yes, but I don't see anybody smacking RBC because he's like 6'8", like 300 pounds. Plus, I don't really see a Tommy Pham. He's fucking hilarious thinking about Rats, who's like 5'5" and 120 pounds, smacking the shit out of RBC. But all right, let's do that. Fine. Rats is Tommy Pham, and RBC is a little bitch, Jock Peterson. And I'm like Trout over here, like, what? At the fucking bar doing shots, trying to forget about it.
All right, are we going to talk about NFC East here?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I forgot all about that. Anyway.
So I also think we should make time to talk about Matt's au pair.
Okay, should we do that after, or should we just...
This is all because this is a family show.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out.
The time for the au pair or the actual au pair.
I think I scared the candidate off. She goes to us.
Did you throw up?
Actually, let's jump into this now. I want to hear this.
Yeah, I don't know. We had like a Zoom interview, and then
I was interviewed her. Line of cocaine.
Got back to us, but anyway, I don't think she was going to be a great fit because she was heading back to school in like August. So it's like,
yeah,
we want someone long term, not like a babysitter for a few months. But I mean, it could actually help temporarily.
I mean, think about the kind of person that would do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. I mean, the kind of person that would do that would probably be like, a college student or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ideal candidate. Someone who like lives in Chicago though, and also has like remote classes that they don't need to have like a definitive schedule. Because my schedule is a little wonky. Like, I'm not off. Like, I don't work a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and that's the hardest fucking part. I mean, that's another thing. Yeah, being able to find, like, Lauren's the same way. Lauren works fucking random days of the fucking week, and I just kind of flow my schedule around that. And yeah, I mean, trying to find it's hard. I mean, Steve, your kids, do they still go to daycare? You drop them off?
No, actually, since we have my daughter, my wife stays home now. So
okay, yeah, that's like, probably the ideal.
Yeah, I think we'd probably be better off just having one of us stay at home in the cost of this shit, dude.
So,
absolutely. Yeah, listen, when we started crunching numbers, bro, and realized that for my wife, who was making really good money, she was basically going to work just to hand over her check to daycare. She was like, well, why don't I just raise my own damn kids? I said, yeah, well, let's do that then.
Yeah. I mean, same thing.
But yeah, I didn't ask any weird question. Just like, like, what did you have
for breakfast
last night for dinner? And
No, you didn't.
What's your favorite condiment?
What does your fart smell like?
And then she didn't get back to us. So I don't know. We'll keep looking here. Anyway, what do we think?
You got to marry one, fuck one, kill one. Go.
You think the Dallas Cowboys over or under 10.5 wins this season? I think that's what they're projected at there.
It's tough.
Are we going to talk about this?
Yeah, I guess we can do football stuff. I kind of want to talk more about
just do totals, or
well, I just
how deep are we going here?
I want to do like a deep dive. I want to get into like sleepers, busts. But we can just start right at the top there. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys over and under. Keep in mind, there's 17 games now, I believe, Matt. You seem like you already have an answer chalked up for this. Under 10.5 wins.
Yeah, I think the move here, at least what I'm seeing as far as the sharps out there, I keep up with the sharps. They seem to be fading the Cowboys and on the Eagles big time here. So, but 10.5, I mean, I could still see them winning 11 games. What would that make them?
They're a really good team.
11.
I mean, I think it's going to come down to the defense because that offense clearly can do a lot of good stuff. And plus, they get to play the Giants twice. They get to play the Commanders twice. I don't really know. But they also, the NFC East plays the NFC North. So they do also get to play the Lions. They get to play the Bears. Oh, my God. The South, too. The AFC South. So they're also playing the Jags. They're playing the Texans. So, yeah.
So over. Yeah, we're going over.
Bengals. They also do play the Rams, though. Packers, Vikings on the road. But I don't know. This division has been such a joke last several years that, when you think about it's going to come down to these assholes just basically jerking each other off in the division. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that the Cowboys are a better team than the Packers right now, Steve?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Packers, I think their defense is going to be really good. And then obviously you don't want to rule out Aaron Rodgers. But, I mean, if you're thinking about it like that, then yeah, you're probably penciling in the Cowboys for over 10.5 wins, right? I mean,
yeah, and even the Packers, they just lost to Darius Smith. Like, I'm not really sure what to expect of the Packers, to be honest with you. I don't know how they're going to score. I don't know how many points they're going to let up. Like they're an absolute mystery right now. It's straight up question mark all the way across the board. Special teams last year cost them a home playoff win against the Niners. Like everything across the board with them. I can't honestly say that I've seen a time where this team has come into a season just a complete mystery. So yeah, I would definitely say that the Cowboys, with what they have there and in place already, you would have to like their chances of having more wins than the Packers. Absolutely.
And then because they also play, they've a little bit of a tough couple of games to start, but they're both at home. This is interesting. They opened up against the Bucks, I think, last year also, but that was in Tampa Bay. So they open up at home against the Bucks, and then they open up against the Bengals. Open up against the Bucks, and then week 2 they are at home against the Bengals. I mean, are they going to start out 0-2? There, or do you think they at least win one of those games, or do you think they win both of them?
Yeah, I could see. I would think they win 1 out of 2 of those. I just don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, and then then they get into the Giants and the Commanders, but then they got to do the Rams. It's gonna come down. I think that division. Imagine is going to come down to that battle between them and the Eagles. I think a lot of people are on the Eagles right now because of their roster. And Jalen Hurts, he's a good quarterback. I mean, he's a winner. You know, he's a good football player. He's not a great quarterback, but he's a good football player, and he wins. I mean, even in college, like I thought he was underrated coming out because he's just a winner. And they're going to run the ball a lot, those Eagles. Now they got some passing weapons, and that defense looks solid, and that offensive line is possibly the best in the league at this point. So, I mean, who do you think, Steve, takes that division? The Cowboys or your neighbors to the south, the Eagles?
Oof. I hate this division so much. I mean, it could be another one of those. And now with the way the schedule plays out, you don't even have to be 500. You could be below 500 and win the damn division. You could be 8-9. But I guess you'd have to give the Cowboys the nod right now until you actually see what the Eagles can come up with. Because who knows with this whole Jalen Hurts experiment with bringing in A.J. Brown. It's just their defense wasn't good last year either. I mean, they forced quite a few turnovers, but their turnovers and their stout defensive performances came against trash teams like the Lions, right? Like, I don't know. I'm probably going to give the Cowboys the edge right now. I think the Cowboys are better suited to take care of business and not be surprised, or they're less likely to be surprised by a team like the Jags or, someone like that.
You think the Cowboys are?
Are what, less likely to be surprised by the Jags?
Yeah. I think they had a couple of games like that last year. I remember the one game against the Broncos at home and a little bit of shit luck. I mean, they actually they blocked that punt.
The blocked punt that turned into a first down and all types of weird shit.
So, shit like that scares you about this team because their defense can be really good or it can just be fucking awful and completely exploited.
Yeah, that's why you just dump $50 on the Commanders and $50 on the Giants and just throw up a prayer.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I think where the value is with Philly is in the win total over 8.5. I like that.
Is it 8.5 now? Last time I looked, it was crazy. I thought it was 9.5.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm looking at VegasInsider.com. That might just take. I mean, you can bet any total actually. So that might be like. You might have to pay a lot of juice on that. But I would probably take over 9.5. I think that's safe.
Yeah, I have on Barstool here over 9.5 wins for the Eagles, minus 125.
Yeah, and I'm looking at DK, and that looks like it's all the way at the fucking bottom, of course. Okay, yeah, over 9.5. What were your odds there? I got minus 120 on DK.
I have over 9.5 is minus 125 on Barstool.
Okay, so yeah, we kind of all like the over there. Let's just look at their schedule real quick. Like I said, they get to play the Giants twice. They get to play the Commanders twice. Maybe end up losing one between the Commanders and the Giants, right?
Yeah, they are at the Bengals. They are at the Rams. They're at the Packers. But we don't really know what they're going to be. They're at home against the Bucks. So
at the Cardinals. So at the Colts. So then they play the Packers.
No, actually, I think are the Colts not coming to them?
No, I see November 20th. Eagles at the Colts.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're on to the Eagles. I was on the Cowboys. I apologize.
I'm sorry. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Eagles, to me, this win total, you want to take the over because of how sexy it is. But yeah, we don't know how much that's going to translate into wins right now. But they did make some really good offseason moves. I hate Howie Roseman so much, but he seems like he's been doing a pretty damn good job lately. Let's take a look at their offseason acquisitions. So obviously, A.J. Brown was their biggest one, but we're not high on A.J. Brown this year in fantasy, right?
Depends on what round value you're talking here for a redraft league.
Give me a realistic stat line you think for him. If he played all 16 games. 17 games?
17 games, yeah. So for me, a realistic stat line for him would probably be 60 to 65 grabs for 1,100 yards and 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns, you think? Well,
no, I'd have to go over that. I would
definitely go over that.
I think 9 or 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, 1,100 yards sounds about right, though. I mean, he's not the kind of guy that's going to get like 1,500.
Yeah, he's also not the kind of guy that's going to grab 100 balls.
Exactly, yeah.
You are.
10 touchdowns. What do you mean? Is that like a testicles reference?
Yeah, it was definitely a testicles reference. It's less funny when I have to explain it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch anyway. But yeah. So you're looking at him being drafted right now as a top 10 wide receiver. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine taking A.J. Brown over Keenan Allen.
Right? Hell no. Absolutely not. No. What are you, fucking high?
But over like a Michael Pittman, over like a DJ Moore, sure. Right? I mean, honestly, I'd probably have Pittman over an A.J. Brown just because I don't think they're going to be, they run the ball. They run the ball.
Oh, though, DJ Moore's floor has been rock solid.
Yeah. But, I mean, these are the tiers of guys you're talking about. You're not going to take him over an Evans or a Lamb. And I'm kind of fading Tyreek Hill a little bit, but this year you're certainly going to take him over A.J. Brown because of the upside. Now, let me ask you this. A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf at this point? Matt?
Well, I think right now, if you're just talking about fantasy relevancy right now,
in a redraft, what are you thinking?
It's got to be Brown because of the situation. I think Metcalf that team's going to suck big fat balls.
Yeah, but wide receivers can still produce without good quarterbacks. We saw it many, many times in a lot of really good receivers' careers, and DK is a good player.
I don't know. I just forgive me for not believing that A.J. Brown can actually stay healthy for a full 17 games.
Mm-hmm.
Seen this guy miss like a 3-game stretch for a chest contusion. Like, come on, bro.
I just can't imagine they're going to be throwing the ball a whole ton. And then you also have Devontae Smith there too. I mean, I love Devontae Smith coming out of college, and you look for these year 2 breakouts, but I don't think he's that guy, because I don't think that the volume's going to be there.
Well, that's why I kind of undershot the touchdown total too, because I still think that Goddard's, Hurts' trusted red zone guy.
Yeah. Okay. You like Goddard this year for sure. And then, what about these running back? I mean, who is the lead running back right there still? Is it Miles
Kennefick?
Is it Miles Kennefick?
No.
Is it Miles Sanders still?
Yeah, he's there.
Is it Jordan Howard? Is it? I mean, they spread the ball.
Okay,
around.
So real quick here, right? I just want to. A.J. Brown's been in the league for 3 years. He's never even eclipsed the 1,100-yard mark.
Yeah.
His touchdown totals in his 3 years are 8, 11, and 5. Now, he's coming into a situation with a brand new quarterback, brand new system, right? So I don't necessarily think that any of us are far off from the mark here.
Yeah, I'm going to be fading AJ a lot just because of numbers wise. But what about these running backs? I mean, who can you answer me that? Who's the lead running back? So it's Miles Sanders?
No, it's Jalen Hurts.
Okay. So we like Jalen Hurts in fantasy quarterback relevance. I mean, if he stays healthy with his rushing ability, would you draft? You're going to draft Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott, right?
No.
Really? Yeah, Prescott is that guy that can put up a lot of numbers through the air, but he was a little bit disappointing last year. Now Cooper's gone, so you got CeeDee Lamb, and then Dalton Schultz should return.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, though, that given that Dak had just come off that gruesome leg injury, I think we're a year removed from that now. He's got a full season under his belt after that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dak get back to the ground game like he had in previous years. So I just kind of, me personally, I feel like the ceiling's still a little higher for Dak right now, although he lost Amari Cooper. I just think that they're going to be able to spread the ball around to enough of their weapons. They're going to try to get him into some open space. I'd rather take the proven commodity.
Well,
he's
not. I mean, yeah, he does have some wheels, and he gets it done again. But that's never been his forte. I mean, the reason he was such a fantasy beast in 2019 was because he had 5,000 passing yards, just about 30 touchdowns. Well, last year he had 4,500 yards and 37 touchdowns. The rushing ability it's there, but it's not his main go-to, like Jalen Hurts has kind of been recently. But now Jalen Hurts got these weapons around him. Devontae Smith is a year older. He's got A.J. Brown. I mean, is there a world where we are dropping Jalen Hurts out of our top 10?
No, I think he's got to be in there just because of the volume when it comes to the rushing side of things.
Yeah. Rushing quarterbacks are good fantasy assets. So that's, I mean, he's a solid quarterback to have. And honestly, when you're talking about Dak, you're talking about him getting most of his points through the air. I mean, I'm drafting Tom Brady over Dak Prescott. I'm drafting a quarterback who's going to be slinging the rock, Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, because you look at these wide receivers on Dallas now, and CD needs to step up to be that guy. He's got all the talent in the world, for sure.
So let me ask you this then. What's the difference for where he's being drafted, right? As your top 5 fantasy quarterback and all the rave is about him. What's the difference between Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray?
I mean, I would take Kyler Murray over Jalen Hurts for sure. Because of, they actually throw the ball there in Carolina. I mean, Arizona. So, I mean, I would not take Kyler Murray out of my top 5, but I feel like Jalen Hurts, I could maybe put him in my top 5, but I wouldn't bring him. It's
because now Kyler Murray with no nuke for 6 games. Does Jalen Hurts have better value based on the way you're talking about him?
Yeah, it's got to hurt his value slightly in redraft leagues. And that just the Arizona, that whole thing they got going on there, it's questionable.
It is. You know what though? Jalen Hurts is also questionable too, because a lot of his games. I think last year we all know this actually, right? Like this guy would start the game with like 0 fantasy points in the first half, and then all of a sudden accumulate 30 in the second half, right? It was just so weird. I don't know what it was, like coaching adjustments or, but anyway, he's got the potential to surpass Kyler Murray because all of that fantasy shit seemed to come in a lot of garbage time. So he can obviously get it done. So if he can put it together, yeah, I mean, I would be comfortable putting Jalen Hurts above like a Kyler Murray. We're certainly not putting Carson Wentz or Daniel Jones anywhere near these fucking QB1s, right?
Yeah, well, I think those guys specifically and those teams are just going to have a tough time.
Well, we're fading the Giants, definitely, right?
That win total, I think Vegas seems to think they have a pretty easy schedule or just have made the moves to win several more games than they did last year. I mean, they won 4 games last year, and
now the win total's at 7.
7, yeah. So
I love that.
I get it.
Hundreds of dollars on that because you know why? Because they have to win 8 games for me to lose that bet. And the Giants are not an 8-win team. No offense.
Seems unlikely.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see what the ball brings to the offense. I think that Saquon is definitely going to be definitely better. But, he's not going to be that explosive shit you saw as rookie year. I mean, he needs to learn just, get 4 yards, 4.5 yards. Not going to be able to, he's still going to have that explosiveness sometimes, but I would be comfortable still drafting Saquon as an RB1 this year, even with the injury history. But I mean, if you wanted to put him over like a James Conner was a beast last year, but he's also got an injury history.
Yeah, it's called cancer.
Or like an Aaron Jones, who, usually has like 2 amazing games a year, and then it's going to be splitting.
Oh, you're about to start a whole group text war.
Yeah, perfect.
God, if my phone lights up with any more fucking AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones nonsense, I'm gonna just throw it in the garbage.
Well, you imagine they're going to be leaning on the running backs a lot more this year, but yeah, Jones is going to cede a lot of touches to AJ Dillon, also a good running back. So, but you figure Aaron Jones is still going to be the main guy. I mean, I don't think he's going to have like top 5 running back potential. I'm just looking at these rankings right now, and I think that Saquon, God, a lot of good running backs. I would take Saquon over. Would you take Saquon over Cam Akers?
Oof.
Crickets. We're not taking Saquon over David Montgomery, right? David Montgomery is probably really undervalued here. I'm just looking at this bullshit fantasy pro shit. Well, anyway, are there any other people that we need to talk about fantasy relevance wise on the Giants? Probably not, right?
Kadarius Toney winning MVP.
Yeah, I think we're done with the Giants here. And then, I just want to circle back to the Cowboys real quick. I actually made a trade for Michael Gallup, whom is coming off an injury.
But he won't be back for some time, right?
Yeah, I think, probably he's going to miss the start of the season. However, look at the weapons. You got Schultz. I think Zeke will probably have a little bit of a bounce back year, but what's his name? Tony Pollard is just so fucking explosive. You can't not give that guy touches. So I think Zeke is clearly not like the top 5 guy that he was before, but you got Alvin Kamara up here at number 10. This fucking asshole, might be in handcuffs right now, for all we know. Javonte Williams up there at number 13, splitting carries. Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's probably a little bit underrated here. Even if he's getting,
I don't know.
Well, even if he's splitting touches, I don't know if he's splitting touches. He's not going to be splitting touches with Tony Pollard. Ezekiel Elliott.
Pollard's the better back.
Way too much money for that. And Pollard has been explosive, but, he hasn't been shown that he's like a worker. There's no way that Tony Pollard is going to supersede Ezekiel Elliott, is what I'm saying.
You're right. They won't swallow their pride and admit it, but it's like they should have just let him go a couple of years ago and just gone with Pollard and drafted another running back.
Well, we all get that. The running back position is devalued these days. You don't need to spend a high pick on one, and you don't need to give him a big fat contract. But I think we're all kind of sleeping a little bit on Zeke. He had 12 touchdowns last year, 1,000 rush yards. A little bit banged up. Year before that, a little bit banged up. And then who else do they got? They got Dalton Schultz going to be getting some targets, and CeeDee Lamb's going to be the only guy. But
expecting some high volume for CD.
Yeah, he needs to do stuff with that. But I kind of like Zeke to have a little bit of a bounce back. I just don't know. Dalton Schultz, you got to like him as a tight end, right? He's like going as a top 8 tight end right now. So, do you guys see any sleepers here between the Cowboys and the Eagles that people really need to pay attention to? Who the fuck is the starting running back for the Eagles? Is it Miles Sanders?
Yes. It is.
They're like, that's all they do is run the fucking ball. And he's being drafted as the 27th running back.
Well, you saw how they operated last year. It was just, he barely got any touches. I don't know. He wasn't even hurt. He was just bad, and then he got a little better at the end of the year. But they were giving, you're right, Jordan Howard was getting touches. They had other guys.
Kenneth Gainwell's a guy. Bart Scott, still fucking there. Interesting. Run first offense, and we can't even fucking pinpoint a single fantasy value out of it. Okay.
Just got to make you like Hurts even more.
Yeah. I think I like Hurts. A lot of upside there. All right, well, what about the Commanders? We're looking at Antonio Gibson here. He's been bumped down. A lot of hype about him. especially beginning of last year. But now he's being drafted around the number 18 best running back. They got J.D. McKissick, Brian Robinson they drafted. I think Brian Robinson is going to be a hell of a nice flyer to take in the last round of a redraft. But what do you think about this team? I mean, is this going to be a run-first team? Are they going to be? They're not going to be chucking the ball around. Carson Wentz. Are they? A ton of wide receivers now. Ton of talent.
Carson Wentz going to be the guy there. I love McLaurin. Yeah, I don't know. I could see them going over 8 wins. Same thing. Pretty easy schedule based on which divisions they match up against. So 8 seems manageable.
Terry McLaurin going off the board at about number 19 wide receiver. You think that's too low? Definitely put him low. He's going under Amari Cooper. Gotta take him over Cooper.
Yeah, especially with the question marks about the quarterback position there. What's going to end up happening?
Take him over a guy like A.J. Brown?
I don't know. I think I'd still go Brown over McLaurin.
But at 19, McLaurin probably
it's good value.
Very good value, I'd say, right? He's been on some shitty teams there in here in Washington. But he's been able to produce. And then Curtis Samuel is going to be like their slot guy. Yeah. I don't know. Don't see a lot of upside for these guys, right? Logan Thomas, though, is their guy at tight end, right? He's being drafted as like a number 18 tight end right now.
Yeah, he was injured a lot of last year, so that probably hurts his fantasy value. So, yeah, you might be able to get a good scoop there. I think for the Commanders, like what the big question was, like everyone had such high hopes for their defense last year, and it like right on it shit the bed, and then they started to come around a little bit.
Well, you can't, play good defense when you're on the field 95% of the time. Who the fuck was playing quarterback last year? Kyle Allen?
Heineke a lot.
Taylor, yeah. You put Carson Wentz in there. I mean, it's an immediate upgrade over this. I mean, Carson Wentz isn't going to be slinging the ball around, but he's a very good game manager in my eyes. I don't know. Rob Gronkowski is being drafted right now over Logan Thomas. And Rob Gronkowski isn't even in the NFL right now, is he? So, yeah. I like the command he proves to do. And then I would say the Giants under 7 wins. I don't know what those odds are at right now, but just fucking take them. They're not going to get to 8 wins. Believe you me. All right, so what do we got? We got any sleepers over here in the NFC East?
Teams or players?
Players, fantasy players. Give me a sleeper. From any team. Did Steve fall asleep?
No, I'm here.
Steve, give me a sleeper.
Let's see. I want to go with Sterling Shepard.
Ooh, a Giant. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, just because I like the rapport that him and Daniel Jones have. And if Shepard can stay on the field, he might get 150 targets.
Yeah, he was very good last year. He wasn't hurt.
You got to figure those guys are going to be playing from behind quite a bit this season. So from a fantasy perspective, I like Sterling Shepard as a little, mid to late round fantasy sleeper. I think his productivity will match whatever value you can get him at.
He's such a bitch, though. The guy cannot fucking stay healthy.
I know, that's a problem.
Yeah, probably overpaid. Like 10
I do also like the tight ends that you pointed out in the division, because I think in the division that, really loves to, glorify and give all the glam to their wide receivers and so on and so forth, I think the tight ends in the division have very good sleeper appeal as far as Goddard, Thomas, Schultz. They're gonna get their red zone targets and they're gonna capitalize on them. So
yeah, unfortunately, the tight end position is just a wasteland, and unless you're getting, it really sucks too, because the tight end can make a difference in your fantasy matchup if he catches a touchdown, but it's just so unpredictable. And if you're not talking about one of the top few tight ends, then there's really, in the long run, not much of a difference between like the number 5 and number 12 tight end. But I think Logan Thomas being drafted is like 18 seems a little absurd. Is he hurt?
Yeah, I think based on his injury history, like that's probably where that's coming in at. But
oh yeah,
I like Pollard. What if he's an injury away from being a starting running back, in my opinion. So, and even if Zeke is healthy, he still gets a ton of touches.
Pollard is just going to be a fantastic asset to have. You talk about those handcuffs that have standalone value and upside. I kind of like Zeke to outperform his ADP for sure, but there's going to be a lot of touches to go around that offense. And then you guys have a bust.
I'm going to go with A.J. Brown.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think the hype around the draft stock that
top 10
they exchanged him for, and
that seems lofty to me. Going off the board as a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Can I say Carson Wentz?
No.
No, everyone expects him to be bad.
Except for when he plays the Eagles twice a year. I promise you he will give everything that he's got, and he'll find some Carson Wentz magic to beat the Eagles 2 times this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, you're looking at all these divisions, and CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown are probably the 2 most fantasy relevant, other than Jalen Hurts. This is fun.
Lauren.
There's not any elite superstar fantasy talent. This whole fucking division. I just realized that. Okay. So yeah, I guess.
Well, I guess just
so low.
My bust is going to be Zeke then.
Mm-hmm. Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna fucking take CD then. Bitch, the bust. He's not gonna bust. He's gonna be pretty good. I don't think he's gonna be like. He's got the talent to be like a top 3 wide receiver, right? But I don't know. Hasn't really turned it on.
Hasn't he? He's been bulking up too, right?
CD?
I think.
Bulking up, like getting fat and out of shape.
I don't believe that's where the weight came from. I think it's muscle.
This was mine. All my weight gain, 100% muscle.
They said Najee Harris weighs like 350 pounds now or some shit. He's on that TV show where they have to like lift him out of his house with a
my 600-pound life.
Yeah. No, that's not true. But
I sent in my audition tape for that show.
Can't wait to talk about that division.
It's muscle. He specifically put on muscle Right?
All right, so here I'm taking the Eagles to win it, Dallas, and then Commanders, and then the Giants. That's my final answer.
I'm going to go with the Giants to mix shit up. Let's go, baby. The ball is going to have that team the ball in. And Daniel Jones. Let me just say this. There's a lot of weapons around him. Okay? And he has shown the ability to get it done. Now, I'm not saying draft Daniel Jones as your QB1, but...
Listen, right now, is Daniel Jones the worst starter in the league?
Absolutely not. No. If you're drafting Zach Wilson over Daniel Jones, you're fucking doing it wrong. Kenny Pickett's ADP is higher than Daniel Jones right now, and he's not even penciled in to be the starter.
Right, as it should be. Who would you actually think is a better starting quarterback in the NFL?
Look, I'm not going to say Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, but he has shown. But
who's worse than him? Who's worse than him?
Jared Goff, Zach Wilson,
Locke,
Drew Lock, Marcus Mariota.
Is Locke worse than Daniel Jones?
Marcus Mariota has had a whole career to prove himself. He hasn't done it. Okay, Daniel Jones has had some.
Darnold's pretty bad too.
Sam Darnold's fucking awful. Yes, Daniel Jones.
I mean, I just feel like you're naming parallel people, right? Like,
no, I think this is what I'm saying. I think that you are wrong.
I would absolutely draft Zach Wilson over Daniel Jones.
Okay. I would tell you right now, I think that is a mistake. I think that Daniel Jones plays better football than his stats lead on. And
it's not a mistake because I'm not going to draft either of those schmucks.
I'm just saying, don't draft Daniel Jones as your QB1, but if you're looking for a late flyer on a guy, or even if you're on a super flex and you're like, I'm just going to lock up that one quarterback and then I'm going to look for some sleepers in the later round. I mean, Daniel Jones around him. Is it a better offense?
Is Daniel Jones better than Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, I think it's time for a Klondike bar.
Oh, boom.
Would I take Daniel Jones over Trevor Lawrence in fantasy? That's a good question. From what I saw last year out of Trevor Lawrence, I think that Daniel Jones is a better quarterback, yes. Better NFL quarterback.
No, I would take Lawrence this year.
Well, fantasy-wise, I would take Lawrence. I'm just saying, what I saw last year at
That's not fair to him.
Give him the benefit.
Don't judge.
Right, but I also give Daniel Jones the benefit. Man. I've actually seen Daniel Jones do good stuff. So that's why I would give the edge to Daniel Jones. Remember, Steve, don't forget about that game. I know you know the Daniel Jones game against the Bucs.
Oh man, I just got a notification. Report of person robbed by man with machete, and it's 0.3 miles away from me. Love that.
Oh yeah, because the Cubs game just let out.
No, honestly,
I live right by there, so.
Doesn't have anything to do
at machete point. That's a first, actually. I mean, that's specific.
Well, you heard it here, folks. The Giants going to the Super Bowl. Not saying they're going to win it, but they will be there. We all agree. Thank you so much for joining us. Big shout out to all the guys in Envy. You are the lifeblood of our podcast. And we're going to try to be here for you guys more, get some more episodes out there. Next week, I think we'll focus on the NFC North because these guys couldn't shut up about it even when we weren't talking about it. So, thank you guys. Jay Fisher, the Ghost, Matt Lowman, Steve, the Brain Wolf.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate y'all.